Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another Classes with Caitlin. I am going to be filling out the Define Your Year page with you all. I like to give us all just a few moments to settle on in. Make sure you are grabbing your Define Planner as well as the Define Your Year companion worksheet. These are going to help us go through and answer the Define Your Year in your Define Planner. Oh, this is the... Wait, is this the right one? Yes, sorry. Define Your Year Planner. This is going to be our session today. I'm so excited about this one. This is such a powerful sheet right here. I'm going to give us all, again, just a few moments. Let everyone who registered for the event have that opportunity to come on and settle right on in. Now, if you don't have your Define Planner yet, that is a-okay. I recommend doing this alongside us, and you can always transfer over your answers once yours comes in. This is also a great way to start to understand yourself a little bit better and grow as an individual. Now, my name is Caitlin. I am here with Define, going over these Classes with Caitlin with you. So as we're on here today, if there's ever any questions, just let me know. That is what I am here for. I hope everyone is having a fabulous Tuesday. I know that first day after Labor Day can be a little tough. So I hope you are all having the best day and really going through it with courage and grace. This, I have our pen. I'm going to be using a Pilot G2 pen and other things as well, like our Hey Perry, the highlighters. These are always optional. This is just what I like to do. It's just a fun way to make it colorful and bright and really represent you, because that's what this planner is all about. Giving us all, again, just those few moments to settle on in. Yes. I love the y'all. That's so fun to me. Do you all have your Define Planner ready to go? I also recommend getting that Define Your Year companion worksheet. Link in bio for that as well. It's free. And then we are slowly going to start. I like to, again, just welcome you all to Define and give everyone who registered for this live the chance to come on. Before we dive into how to answer these questions. Now, if you end up, it will not be back in stock for this round of planners. Our B5s are going to be available for our January starts. Those will be out around October. You can sign up for updates using the link in our bio as well. Hey, Christy, you ready to define your year with us? Hey, Sunshine. Okay. I'm slowly going to get us all ready to define our year together. So I want to introduce you guys. My name is Caitlin, and I want to take a moment and just welcome you all back to Classes with Caitlin. Today, we are going to be setting up another powerful part in your Define Planner, and that is Define Your Year. We have already completed Balance Your Plate, Define Yourself, and these gave us a snapshot into how we are currently spending our time and also what our values are. So now it's time that we take that insight a step further. I do want to make sure you guys grab your Balance Your Plate because it will come in handy as we are going through Define Your Year. So this worksheet that we are going to be going over today, I'm just going to put this planner right up here so you guys can see them next to each other. Actually, how's this? Okay. So this worksheet is going to help us do a little more reflection on these 6 questions that you'll find in the Define Your Year page before transferring over the final answers into our planner. So think of this worksheet as a little brainstorming place. This is going to be your safe place to jot down any thoughts, ideas, reflections, and then that is what we will transfer over into the planner. This is your commitment space, that planner. And so you want to make sure that your answers in Define Your Year are the clear, intentional answers to guide your year ahead. Now it is time to dive in to defining our year. And we are going to start with question 1. So the first question is, what areas of my life need more balance? And I am going to be using colors just so you guys know which question we're on, and it makes it easier and a little more fun. You can never have too much color in your planner is what I always say. So question 1, what areas of my life need more balance? This is when the balance your plate exercise really comes in handy, because we have already completed balance your plate, where we see more clearly of which areas of our life need that extra attention. And so the goal here, you are never going to find that perfect balance in all parts of your life, but it's a great time to notice where we feel pulled away from what truly matters, and then where we want to realign. And so on your worksheet, I want you to start by listing out the different areas of your life that feel a little off. They feel like they need more balance. So you are going to start by listing in the aspect of lifeline based off of your balance your plate and those reflection answers that we did together. So if you did not complete that, I do recommend starting there. Otherwise, just dive in and join us right now. And so you are going to start by listing out those areas that feel underrepresented or neglected in this balance your plate exercise. So starting off, where do you feel overextended? What areas have you been neglecting? Where do you want to invest more time or energy or care? As we were filling out our own balance our plate, we had noticed that one key area here that felt off was hobbies. So I'm going to start by, in this reflection space, number 1 right over here, by writing hobbies. But then we have to take it one step further and expand on that. This is going to be what feels off and why. So what part about your hobbies feels off, and why does it feel off? For instance, and you guys, as we're on here today, I want you all to know that this is an interactive session. So feel free to share your answers with us, ask any questions as you need to as well. So right now, keep going with that reflection space and seeing your aspect of life, starting off with that hobbies for us. Maybe you just don't make enough time for activities that spark joy. I'm going to be filling out this with you guys just so we all are on the same page of what steps we're on and how to go about your own define your year. Having these worksheets makes it easier to brainstorm before diving into your final planner version. So I don't make enough time for activities that spark joy. And creativity also, that spark joy and creativity. It could be reading, painting, cooking, just for fun, with no ulterior motive. It's truly just fun. Another aspect of life that when we were taking a look at our own balance your plate is that faith right here. So we're going to write that one in next. Maybe you want to just strengthen your spiritual practices. And connecting with your values more consistently. Another thing that we noticed when we were balancing our plate is community. Look how small that is. When we were talking about community, it involved volunteering, giving back. That could be another great example for you. So for the third reason, we're going to go community. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. It is going to be different for everyone. The purpose is that when you look at this sheet, you are getting a better insight into how you're going to prioritize your year ahead. So you have that community. Ask yourself once again, what feels off? And come back to that why. Maybe you've been really prioritizing work and you haven't been getting out enough. Maybe you moved to a new town and you're almost a little afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Maybe you've been focusing so much on your health and wellness that you have just been putting off going to different types of events. Making time for other things. Now, number 4, when we looked at this, we saw, you know what? Family isn't as big as we wanted it to be. Social media was bigger than family. So you know what? We're going to add in family as our number 4 here. There's no order here. It's really just about how you ended up going about that reflection. So it's not like these are in order of any top to-dos. It's just the way that they ended up playing out. So maybe your time with the family has felt a little rushed or secondary. We notice here, look how big that work one is, which it makes sense. We decided that we weren't going to be changing that. But still, the fact that family is smaller than social media. Maybe you've been prioritizing yourself over that family time, your relationship over family. There's a lot of different whys that often come up as you're doing this. So don't worry about don't judge yourself as you're doing this. This is to give you that insight. That's what matters here. So that way you can make those changes moving forward. So another interesting thing that I'm going to mention right now is that when we were in the Balance Your Plate exercise, we actually also noticed 2 areas that we wanted to pull back from, and that was the health and wellness and social media. That doesn't mean that we're going to ignore them completely, but it does mean that we will want to rebalance them so they don't take up more share of their energy. So that is where, when we say that these areas need more balance, that is how you will pull back and how you will make that extra time. So now that we have brainstormed those 4 answers and really dived into the why behind it, it's time to then transfer them over into our defined planner, and this is going to make them more permanent. And here we're going to list out those 4 here. It's just helpful to really connect, because let's say you started to write about your family and then you were like, actually, this isn't the space I feel like I want to add into it. You can always cross it out here and change it as you are adding it into your planner. So I am going to keep this list, but I'm going to go and I'm just going to write in hobbies, faith, community, and family. And so these are going to become the foundation for the rest of this exercise. Speaking of, I want you to refer back now to question 2. And this right here is, what are my priorities this year? I'm just going to highlight this so you all know which question we're on. And again, if any questions come up to you, anything you guys would like to share, just let me know. That's what this is all about. Question number 2 is going to be, again, what are my priorities this year? Priorities are the things that we want to give the best of ourselves to. They aren't just the tasks on a to-do list. These are going to be value-driven commitments that shape how we spend our time, our energy, and our attention. So whereas balance is noticing what's missing, priorities are about choosing what matters most. So think about what will help you feel fulfilled, what aligns with your values, and where you want to grow. So on your worksheet, you are going to start by listing your priorities and writing down why they matter. Connecting to your why is going to help us stay committed when things get busy. So I am going to tie them back into what areas of my life need more balance. I am going to do it in a little bit of a different take though, because I wanted to refer back to motivations, right? I wanted to refer back to motivations as well as the balance your plate exercise. So taking a look at these two things, you are going to notice that you have personal growth missing from this pie chart. That was what we didn't, that was one thing that we answered that we wish we had a slice for. We also had that intrinsic motivation is also going to be personal growth. There was also volunteering as an internal growth, as an intrinsic motivation. So the reason I'm showing you these two things right now is because as you are figuring out your priorities, I want you to take a look at your overall answers for balancing your plate and define yourself, and that first question, and define your year of what areas need more balance. Because one thing that I'm realizing here is that when we say hobbies, those go under personal growth. And personal growth is one of our core values. You'll see that here, growth and creativity. So if we were to combine hobbies, our core values, our motivations, all of that is going to line up into that personal growth category. And so that is going to become our priority. So I wanted to make sure that for our priorities, we are tackling the overall thing as well as that narrowing aspect, which let's just go through it so it'll become a little more clear as to what I'm saying. So let's start off with that personal growth. So priority number one is personal growth, because I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to give yourself more of to? And what will help you feel grounded and fulfilled? And so you might have noticed that you didn't include personal growth for what areas of your life need more balance. And that is because we didn't even get to add it to our plate because we aren't dedicating enough time to it. So that right there is going to reveal itself as our priority. And it matters to us because one, this is part of our intrinsic motivation. And we also want to make sure that we are investing in ourselves through hobbies, through learning new skills. And then I'm just going to grab in this orange color. I just also want to say that this was missing on my plate. Because as you were referring back to this sheet when you transfer it over, that's going to reveal another little insight. So how are we all doing as we're filling out our Define Your Year companion worksheet? Is this making sense to you guys? Is there any questions that are coming up for you? Anything you would like to review? The next priority that we're going to list out is going to come from the areas that need more balance, pulling from both the Balance Your Worksheet, defining yourself. Do you guys see how this is all connecting together? Everything is designed here with that purpose in mind to help give you that deeper connection as you're going through this process. Okay. Another priority, coming back to everything we've been talking about, from activities that bring us joy, which is we had spending time with loved ones, specifically laughing together, to that family of our core values. And you'll notice it here, it also does need more balance. These were just getting away from me, so I wanted to pull them over. That's going to bring us to the next priority of family. I want you guys to all tell me right now, what is one of your priorities for this year? And why? For us here, relationships with loved ones, they really just bring joy and meaning to it all. And so we want to make sure that we are incorporating that. You also maybe want to create lasting memories. This is like a little journaling session. Okay. And then for the fourth priority, we're going to connect it one more time back to everything we've been talking about, and that is going to be that community aspect. Because being involved and giving back, that can connect us back to our purpose, and overall just feeling a little more proud of the life we're living and what we want to leave behind. Okay. Now what you're going to go ahead and do is grab your planner once again. And I want you to transfer over that into your planner, because these are going to act as your compass for the year ahead. And so I'm going to start off and just list. One would be personal growth. I'm just going to do a little summary. This is important to keep learning and growing. Number 2, that faith aspect keeps you grounded. And then number 3, family. I'm trying to think of the best way I want to summarize my family and my priorities, because I'm going to write that it brings joy and meaning, because that's ultimately what it's all about. And lastly, community. Creates connection, which happens to be one of our core values. And purpose, which is the word we live by. So you see how as you're going through these, everything starts to connect. If you're answering it honestly and authentically, everything's going to end up going together. The next question is, hey Leah, is what am I ready to let go of to create space for growth? So I'm just going to flip our paper over here. I'm just going to move that to the side. Sometimes the most powerful step towards growth isn't actually adding more, but it's letting go. Letting go means releasing habits, patterns, or distractions that no longer serve us. So I want you to think about everything you've been carrying that feels heavy. What steals your energy? Or what keeps you from showing up fully in the areas you just identified as priorities? Some examples here, because again, we want to tie everything back in together. So taking a look at your balancing your plate, at defining yourself. Take a look at these answers that you did for the reflection and see, what have you outgrown? For us, it was that social media doom scrolling. That is no longer serving us. Think of this as what you no longer want to make space for as much. So I'm just going to take this pen once again. So we're going to start by writing down what we're ready to let go of. And so we're going to write scrolling social media out of habit. And then we are going to write why. Naming the why is what makes this step even more meaningful. Maybe it's because you are ready to reclaim the time that you are wasting scrolling out of habit on hobbies, reading, or your family. I want to reclaim that time for hobbies, family, or mindfulness. Amazing. Next, what are you ready to let go of? One thing that we talked a lot about on our last classes with Caitlin was that overcommitting, being a people pleaser. And so we're going to now list out overcommitting. And the ultimate why behind that is because saying yes to everything is what leaves us drained and unavailable for what matters. Saying yes to everything leaves me overdrained and unavailable for what matters. Amazing, you guys. The next thing that we are ready to let go of is negative self-talk. This is such a freeing exercise. Maybe this stops you from actually believing in yourself, or it's holding you back from taking risks. And then you have space to write in one more thing that you're ready to let go of. Let's stop skipping rest. So I'm going to write skipping time for rest. Oh, sorry, I thought that there was... Oh, that was a weird feeling. Skipping time for rest. It's easy for us to look at rest as wasted time, so we need to stop doing that. Rest is not wasted time. It's actually what fuels our health and creativity. And if we have one of our core values as health or creativity, well, we can't be taking things away from our life that are going to help us build in those areas. So, creativity. So now I want you to take the things that resonate with you most, and I want you to carry them over into your planner. Because this is where you are going to make that commitment to releasing what no longer serves you. And so, right now in the comments, write one thing that you are ready to let go of. And just get ready to make a change. We are going to go with scrolling social media out of habit. I'm going to actually list all 4 because I am ready to make a change. Overcommitting. But what's nice is that you now have those why behind it. So maybe you actually only choose 2 to start. You don't have to write all 4 in. Choose as many that are going to feel aligned with what you are truly ready for. And then amazing, you guys. The next thing I want you all to move on to is question 4. And this is where we are going to identify the routines that we want to establish or strengthen. Christy is ready to let go of mindless scrolling and wasting time. Yes, you are so capable. You have got this. I know it. Thank you for sharing that. When it comes to those routines that you are ready to establish or strengthen, let's talk a little bit more before we dive into the worksheet portion of this. Leah needs to get away from lacking direction. You want to be a little more self-driven. That's really interesting. Oh, hey, Gina. Leah, we are going to get back to that in just a moment. Gina, that's amazing. Don't be sorry. Welcome. These are available at the link in our bio. And I upload everything to Red as well, so you can always go back and watch these classes again. Welcome to the Define community, Bridget. That is really interesting, Leah. That is a first that I've heard that. What is it that you are ready? I'm trying to think a little deeper into that purpose, into if you need to release lacking direction. What is it that you are releasing yourself from? I'm fascinated by this one. Oh, no, it's not bad at all. I think it's amazing. I think it's such a good answer. I'm just trying to think about the take on what might be holding you back. No, I think it's a really good answer. That's why I'm thinking about it a little longer. Ah, yes. Release the excuse we use to avoid action. Thank you, Bridget. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so cool. Because I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with, but it's hard to admit it. Hey, Spooky. So Leah, no. Oh my goodness, I do not want you to think that was bad at all. I thought that was such a great answer. Fair. So maybe you're both, you're ready to release the excuse. There we go. Okay, Leah, you get lost in things like you spend your time doing things with your daughter or reading and you miss what I should be doing. So you're ready to release unnecessary distraction. Even though I think spending time with your daughter is still so important, so I can see why maybe that does cause that, quote, distraction instead of doing what you should be doing. Because of course you want to spend time with your daughter. So I think this next question is really going to be where you could find that answer to the how behind it. So for instance, because what routines are is that they are actually the structure that hold our priorities in place. And the key here is that routines aren't actually about perfection, even though a lot of times we think that they are. It's about creating that consistent rhythm that supports the life we want. So if we take a step back to those priorities we wrote down, from wasting our time to doom scrolling, to personal growth, family, we have to build a routine that would make it easier to live these out. So that connects a lot with that time management. That is so interesting. I want to do some examples of what could help you all out as well. So, to guide our reflection, we're going to ask ourselves what routines would help support our priorities and what time of day or week would work best. Perfect. Leah, that was such a great segue. I am so happy you mentioned that. Because we have to start small. So maybe you make a routine with your daughter even. So you can dedicate that time still to her. But maybe you take a certain time when you're able to really focus on one other task as well. If we're taking a look at our priorities are starting off with personal growth, which is really important for us to keep learning, keep growing. Maybe it's before bed, once you put your kids down, once you put the phone in the other room. That's a good idea, actually. Because I noticed that Spooky said that she was doing well with her movie nights instead of doom scrolling, but she's been slipping a little bit. Okay. Well, how can we establish a routine that allows you to get back into the swing of things? Dive deeper into the why what you're doing now isn't working. For instance, if we are trying to read more, or dedicate time for personal growth, let's say I would like to establish that nighttime routine. This routine allows me to feel fulfilled on a personal level. I can never spell that word quite right. Fulfilled. On a personal level. And optimizes my sleep as well. So you're actually then you're going to get to both areas with that one stone. That's interesting. Because we did mention that we don't want to skip time for rest. Planning out your day might be what you need, Leah. I love that idea. In the morning, I'll plan out my day. So every Monday, because I like to set mine up with you guys. So every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'll set up my week, but dedicate daily or morning time to just review my day at a glance, to break it down even further. Christy has to plan her day, even what time to go to sleep, skin routine, 30-minute read time. I think that's great. And are you able to stick to it? Do you find that when you plan out what time you're going to go to sleep, what time you start your skin routine, that you're able to really stick to it? Because that can be another tricky part of things, is making sure that you are establishing it in a realistic way. So that way you're not overbooking yourself. So if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to start my skin routine at 7 p.m. Eastern every night, well, that might be a little too early based off of your life. So finding that right sweet spot for you. And it keeps it. I love that, Christy. It gave you good habits and a way to keep moving forward. That's what it's all about. That's the power of planning right there. If you are trying to focus more on, let's take a look back at that priorities, family. Maybe you do a weekly family night. Family night at least once a week. With no distractions. Pizza making kits for family night. These are all amazing ideas. If you're trying to focus on that community. What if you started volunteering once a month? To feel aligned and connected. But I also want you guys to know yourself. So part of this question, what routines do I want to establish or strengthen, is going to be knowing when are you naturally more inclined to stick to your routine, and when do you tend to find more excuses to not do them. Maybe you love mornings. And so if you set up a morning routine, it's going to get you excited every day. You are not going to skip your alarm because you are so excited to keep going with those morning walks, to get yourself ready before you have to talk to people all day. There's so many ways that you can go about your routine. It doesn't have to be at night. I think it's easy for us to assume that nighttime is best for all of us, but maybe the morning is when you work best, and that's going to get you up and motivated for the day. So maybe you also want to improve your morning routine. To start the day off strong. So you're reviewing your planner every morning. You are getting 5 minutes outside. One more thing would be, if you are trying to focus on health and wellness, you could start Sunday meal prepping. If that's another thing that's really important to you. For us, we had mentioned that health and wellness we were trying to cut back on a little bit, so I'm not going to write that down here. I hope that this is making sense, you guys. Again, you are all having such amazing points. Keep them going if you guys would like. Because now what we're going to do is we are going to choose 2 to 3 routines that actually feel doable and meaningful. And those are what we're going to add into our planner. So this is going to give you a little reflection space. Write down all those thoughts that come to mind. Get ambitious about your routines or those habits that you're trying to work on. And then we're going to make it more doable in our planner. So for instance, we want to establish that nighttime routine to make time for personal growth. That is going to be doable. So we're going to go, the way that I like to do this is kind of thinking about the time of the day. So I'm going to start with my AM routine. I know we talked about PM first, but I did go a little backwards in my reflection in the way I was thinking about this all. So I'm actually going to start with that AM. That way it's broken down in a way that makes more sense on paper. So in the AM, we need to establish that consistent wake up time. And we are not going to hit snooze. In parentheses, no snooze on weekdays. And we are also going to plan our day, each day. Okay. And then I also want to switch to the PM. Because when you take a look at this, we have that in the PM, that was a big topic of conversation. We are going to put our phone away. At the same time every night. And focus more on personal growth. Okay, now you are going to try to tackle the next question. This is going to be a little harder, but it is so important. And it is challenges ahead and strategies to overcome them. And you guys have already started to acknowledge those challenges. You just might not know it. For instance, one challenge is going to be that you want to spend more time with your daughter rather than probably doing, you were mentioning something that you, like something you quote should be doing. That right there is a challenge because you're going to feel more pulled to want to do the time with your daughter. I can't even blame you. So the hard part is that no matter how motivated we do feel right now or at the beginning of the year, there's always challenges that come up that we can't plan ahead of time for. But don't think of this as failure because that is a part of the process. The important thing here is that we are going to anticipate any obstacles that we can and come up with some strategies. So I want you guys right now to think about any big roadblocks, whether it's time, those distractions, motivation, or self-doubt. So by naming them now, you are going to be ready to respond when they show up. So on this worksheet, we are going to go through and list out challenges or potential challenges and potential strategies. So I want to walk you through some different examples. One thing that comes up, I think, for almost all of us that we can try our best to prepare for is that busy schedule crowding out your priorities. So challenge number 1. Behind door number 1 is busy schedule with crowding priorities. Okay. So what is a good strategy for this? Well, one routine we wanted to establish is that consistent daily intention for the day, how we're going to plan ahead of time. So what I want maybe is to block calendar time for our family, for hobbies, and for that faith every day. And hobbies. Now I'm kind of using personal growth and hobbies they're kind of being used interconnectedly. So just as a little clarification there. Next, we also have to acknowledge the social media of it all. So a big distraction that's going to come up for us all is social media. But what's funny is that one of the quotes that we had written down under those words and phrases that we live by on our companion worksheet was comparison is the thief of joy. And notice that we are also ready to let go of negative self-talk. You wonder if those two are going to be having a correlation together. Maybe the less time on social media, the less negative self-talk you'll have. Some strategies in place would be to use app limits. One thing I know a lot of people do is actually during the week, they'll delete the apps from their phone. Or you could also have like a no phone zone. So maybe there's a certain spot like your bed where you don't scroll on your phone. Or the dinner table. I would say that dinner table is going to be huge. Another challenge that often comes up is just that losing momentum or motivation. Now, if your motivation is a mix of that intrinsic and external, that is the key here. So we talked about what motivates us and the differences between our different types of motivations. Having a mix of both of those, that's going to help us to prevent losing that momentum. Hey, Rachel. So one strategy for this would be to utilize those monthly reflections in your planner to realign with your priorities. So we are going to always dedicate time for that monthly reflection. To realign with our priorities. And one more challenge you might face is going to be feeling tired, to be honest. That can be one of the most, that I think right there is one of the reasons we oftentimes use an excuse or we find a reason not to do the thing we set out to do is because we're, quote, tired. So for this, we're going to focus on small steps through weekly action items. Because that consistency is what's going to keep us motivated. It's also what's going to pay off long term. Okay. Now what I want you to do is to pick your top challenges and strategies, and those are what I want you to add into your planner. And so we're going to grab that planner one more time, and we are going to take the ones that really feel like they are the challenges that we'll have most. So I'm actually thinking number 1 and number 2 are going to be the top 2 challenges for us. So we are going to transfer those into our planner, and you can always choose to expand a little more if this is what you would like to do. So I'm going to go number 1 is going to be busy schedule. Taking away time, or busy schedule without making time for priorities. And so our strategy is going to be block out time for what matters. But also, we are not going to overcommit. That's another thing that I'm thinking about that just sparked for me. That's why it's nice to get to transfer them over, because you'll notice different things pop up, different ideas when you get to finalize it. We will not overbook ourselves, because oftentimes we fill our schedule with so many different things that we're not filling our schedule with what we truly want to be filling it with. And the second challenge is going to be distraction with social media. Okay, and we've talked a lot about this one on previous sessions as well. So we're going to start doing screen limits if that comes up, /app limits, and having a time for no phones. Okay. Now, there's one more question left, and that is going to be the fun one. What am I looking forward to this year? And we are going to, you already have limits on Facebook and IG. Wait, that's so smart. See, guys are already having these strategies in place. Sometimes you just don't even realize it. That's amazing. That's okay. I support that. The next thing, because it is so important to get to connect with joy and anticipation. So looking forward helps us stay motivated, especially when the work feels hard. So think about the milestones, the experiences, or the simple moments that inspire you. The things you're genuinely excited about celebrating this year. Write down these things and why they matter to you. Why are you excited about them? I'm going to write down more family time. Oh, you tried and it didn't work for you. Wait, that's too funny, Christy. That's fascinating. Are you going to try again, or are you really not trying it? My closest relationships. Another thing that we're looking forward to is, I'm actually really excited, and I want you guys to try to connect these with your goals if you can. There will probably be some things that are not exactly connected to your specific priorities. They could be like a concert that you're going to, things like that. That's totally fair, Christy. I love that idea. Trying. Maybe you're excited to try those new hobbies because it actually adds creativity and enjoyment to your life. It breaks up the mundane. Okay. What is one thing everyone else is excited to this year? It could be finding new recipes to try and getting into cooking. It could also be for things like skiing. Things that are outside of the goals of it all. It could be just trying something new. And then you're going to transfer those into your planner. And this just emphasizes all the things that you have going on this year. And this is another thing that comes with keeping us motivated. Okay. Oh, you have some concerts, you have family time, a family trip. Wait, that's amazing. Have a good day, Christy. We are just wrapping up here as well. By walking through these 6 questions, we have now built a roadmap for the year. These are our Define Planner companion sheets. They're actually available at the link in our bio. So make sure to check those out, Melody. I love that. I recommend that's why I love having an August start planner, because that way September 1st comes and we get to kickstart this new year together. You don't need to wait for January, okay? You can define your year right now. So this right here in itself is the Define Planner, and that is going to include the self-reflective prompts that you're seeing us fill out here. The companion worksheets are also available to go alongside it. And this is going to help you take back that control. Specifically, the Define Your Year is going to be great for you to help see that roadmap for the year of where you want to find more balance. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, Melody. Oh my gosh, I totally blanked. I also drew a blank on this, Rachel. I know you're talking about something else, but I totally drew a blank on this. Wait, I'm so happy that it's starting to calm down. Because I remember you were trying to prioritize that health and wellness, and then your surge, there was that setback that got in your way. I think now is a great time for you. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm excited for this. I'm glad it's calm down. Yes. Wait, Rachel, what are you drawing a blank on what you're excited for this year? Yes, so grab those worksheets. It is time for you to make sure that you are living your best life. Girl, you got this. Oh, no. Oh, you're starting a garden. Wait, that's so amazing. I know this can be kind of tricky, to be honest with you. It took me a little bit to figure out what I was excited to do this year. But it could also be more general things. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. It could be making time for yourself. It could also be the homeschooling of the kiddos. Maybe that's something that does bring you joy. And even if it's not, quote, new, that doesn't matter. It's something that you are going to look forward to and keeps you motivated. The worksheets are available at the link in our bio. They are companion worksheets. And what's nice about these worksheets is that it gave us a space to brainstorm, whereas then you can put the ideas in the planner and make them commitments. And so now that you've transferred your answers, or once you get to transferring your answer, you're going to have a clear vision to guide you throughout the year. So just to recap, in this class, we have walked through the Define Your Year page together and have identified what areas of our life need more balance, what we're ready to let go of, and uncovering overall what we want to be moving towards. So this session has been all about recognizing where your time and energy go and how we can now realign things to move forward. So now we are going to be able to take everything we've learned, and in our next classes with Caitlin on Thursday, we are going to be able to summarize who we are in that personal mission statement. Okay, you guys. This is such a powerful tool that I recommend everyone fills out before diving into that personal mission statement. Thank you, Melody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me today. I'll be uploading this to Red alongside the Define Yourself recording. So stay tuned for that. It will be going up right after this as soon as things download. I am so grateful for each and every one of you in this Define community, and I want you all to keep navigating each day with purpose. I will be back on here tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern to do our 60-minute weekly reading sprint. So I will talk to you guys in just a little bit. Until then, have a fabulous Tuesday. Bye, you guys.